Howdy, y'all, and welcome to Texas Watch for the week of Tuesday, August 11th, 2020. I'm your host, Project, and joining me, as always, is the Tracer man with the biggest brain, Zay.
What's up, man? We had some good Overwatch this past weekend, conclusion of the Countdown Cup. There's a lot of good play I saw. Some surprises and some not so much.
Some stuff that we absolutely expected to happen and
saw it coming. Definitely saw it coming.
Absolutely. But guys, check it out. This is Texas Watch. You can catch the show live right here on twitch.tv/Project AR every Tuesday, 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time, because Texas time
is bestest time.
If you can't catch the show live, don't worry about it. You can get the show on podcast services around the globe. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher. Also, we're on YouTube.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of another one again, but I always forget which ones come up next.
There aren't any other podcast services, period. Just those four. Just those four.
Coming soon.
Even though we host on Anchor.fm, which is kind of a cheat sheet because they literally just put your podcast everywhere.
Oh yeah,
I genuinely mean everywhere. If you go on any podcast service, for real. Hey, want to listen to my podcast? Yeah, sure. What's it on? Yes.
Whatever you have, it's on. Put it that way.
If you want to maybe watch our beautiful faces as we talk about Overwatch, you can catch us on YouTube. Link down below if you're watching live. If you're actually watching us on YouTube, hey, how's it going? Be sure to hit that like. Hit that subscribe, ring the notification bell. That way you actually know when our videos go live, when you can actually catch the premieres, maybe hang out with us in chat. Who knows?
There you go.
Other than that, let's just jump right into it, because we had a lot that happened this last weekend. But I want to save the Countdown Cup tournament for the end, because we are Texas Watch.
Yeah, you know what the show's about.
100%.
We all know what the show's about.
We got to talk about Houston. We got to talk about Dallas. And we gotta talk about how the season is effectively over for the Houston Outlaws.
It is, man. We have no more games remaining. If you check the schedule, the Outlaws have no more. Also, excuse me if you hear things falling. That's my cat jumping around and knocking things off my desk as I try to shoot a podcast. So do not be alarmed. Everything is okay. Hopefully. With that said, the Outlaws season is now over. Their final record is 6-15. They're currently in 17th place, but that's subject to change because other teams below us still do have games to play. At this point, I am just praying we're not last in the league when it's all said and done. I don't think Boston can catch us, but the Justice and the Titans are only 2 games behind us. So there's potential that they could catch up to us, which would be devastating to me because one team was blown to oblivion and the Justice originally were just washed up old Overwatch players who've now found their groove. So I would really hope that we stay 17th and don't fall any further. But the Outlaw season is over. As a general season in review, if I had to put one word on it, it's very disappointing. It's just very disappointing.
Yeah.
To go from last year being a mid-tier team and finishing mid-table to now being in the bottom third, I guess a fourth of the league, is a step backwards. Now, and everyone had to go through the same circumstances with the pandemic, with moving things around and teams playing across, different regions and these new tournament formats, the meta shift. So each team had to deal with a lot. So the Outlaws weren't really excused from that part because that was on the playing field for everyone. But the highlights I like to point out is I loved Harsha's ability to pull the plug on Muma and input hydration. That was one of the biggest moves and put us in contention to at least compete with some of the mid-table teams and the high-level teams. Without that, I don't think we would have been even close. We've been maybe the bottom of the league. Another highlight is Dante has taken his play to the next level. I don't think there's any question at this point that he's one of the elite DPS players in the Western Hemisphere. I believe he needs to be up there with Soon and Exy, Striker, those type of players. Yes, people will say those are the best players in the league. Those are like MVP caliber. Dante is MVP caliber. He doesn't get to see it a lot because the support system's not really there. We don't have the versatility to play a lot of the roles and metas that have come through. But I think it's our first year with this new owner. I'm sure he didn't expect this kind of situation with the pandemic and having a lack of resources.
Because that happened shortly before.
Before.
Damn. So I was like, hey, congratulations, here's your new Houston team. You have a homestand coming up. And it's gone.
That's gone, yeah. And now your entire staff you can no longer meet with because you're all quarantined. You can only certain people could be around each other. Especially the owner is he's a Houston native. I believe he lives in Houston. So Houston right now, just as far as cases go, is still going up. Actually, side tangent, that I have a friend who went there recently and said Houston's one of those cities they don't give a shit. People go into places without masks. There's no social distancing going on, especially downtown areas. People just are living their normal lives like there's nothing going on. So it's bad over there as far as cases go. So he's probably dealing with that as an owner. I'm assuming he has his own life to deal with outside of Overwatch. So maybe not as much attention was given to the team, but I think Harsha did a great job overall as the head coach. I definitely think he should be kept. I don't think anything that he's done at this point warrants a shift in management at all. I think that's the case. I think we're, from a management perspective, in a good spot. There's just some roster changes that really need to be made. Linkser he's good at his specialty roles, but there's question marks there. Hydration, I think we keep. He can just flex into anywhere. He's just a great tool to have in the tool belt per se.
Right.
Jexay and Rappel, I think they should also stay. I mean, I don't see any reason why they can't be one of the better supports duos in the league. They're not the best, but they're mid-tier capable. So there's some changes that can be made. Muma's still on the roster, but at this point, everyone and their brother knows that we need a new main tank. So it's not like it's any news that we're probably going to get rid of him and move Hydration somewhere else and get a new starting main tank. I don't know if it's going to be the issue there or what they're going to do, but that's the biggest glaring hole for the Outlaws. Meko has been doing what he could on the off-tank role. He's probably the only player I think that has not been subbed out like the entire season. Like, he's played every match. Even Dante at one point was subbed out. We played like Blase Linkser for one time, and we never did that again because we found out that was the stupidest idea we could possibly done is take out Dante. But Jexay and Rappel have also rotated when Raucus was still in the lineup mix. With that said, I ain't going to our retirements. Raucus is now gone. He's left the Overwatch League. He's going to play Valorant. Spree is also left. He's also doing his own content creation. I don't know if he's playing Valorant, but I think he is on the side, but he's trying to do his own streaming thing at this point. So it's been an interesting year for the Outlaws. Not as much as the Fuel. I mean, after last week, y'all had more news in that week than we probably had all season.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
But to wrap a bow on it for the Outlaws, the season was disappointing because we felt we were mid-table and just needed to make a couple moves to take that next step, and it kind of fell apart. We realized we just don't have the caliber of players to reach the San Francisco Shock, the Paris Eternal, Shanghai Dragons level style of play. So GG's to my Outlaws, man, to ante up forever. Great season, and let's just get better next year. That's all we can really do at this point. Enjoy the break, my team.
Let me have you take a step back, though. I have a question for you. The playoffs are still coming up. There is a chance for Houston to get into that wild card slot. Do you see it happening?
True.
I'm asking you to be realistic.
No, I don't.
Because there's two slots per region for a wild card?
I don't see it happening because I don't see us being able to beat anyone right now in that playing game. I don't think I'm just looking here to see how the playoffs would actually work with this wild card spot.
Got it pulled up on the stream. So we got 2020 playoffs postseason format. For our audio listeners, I'm just going to read it off to you. The 2020 playoffs kick off on Thursday, September 3rd, with 2 weeks of online matches that are split into regional brackets. Yada, yada, yada. Huge paragraph with every single team listed because it's a press release, so they have to. Teams will be seeded in each region based on their records over the regular season within a series of tiebreakers applied if necessary. While all teams have an opportunity to qualify for the playoffs, higher seeds in each region enjoy significant advantage, including buys and choice of opponents for the first round of the bracket and selection of the first map throughout. Playoffs open with single elimination play-in matches among the lowest seeded teams to earn their spot in the double elimination playoffs bracket. After 2 weeks of playoffs, we'll be down to the final 4 teams, the top 2 from both North America and Asia. So what I want to highlight is this paragraph right here. The playoffs open with single elimination play-in matches. So
So even if you take, if you take the bottom four, Uprising, Justice, Titans, Outlaws,
right
in our region, I don't think we can beat the Titans or the Justice right now.
do you think the Outlaws are that low?
I think that the Justice would give us a serious run for our money, if not win. The Titans we can beat, and we can beat Boston. We can beat Boston and the Titans. But if we had to play the Justice, that's going to be a really tough matchup for us because of the fact that they can play on our level. I mean, you look at their players like Tuba by himself on the Genji has just been carrying. We don't have a Genji player on that level. And if you have a Genji player that's that much better than your entire team or your other DPS, you're going to win, even if he's really not meta. And I think coming into this coming final playoff part, they'll be on the live patch. So Genji will also have the nerf of his rate of fire, as well as the Shuriken damage.
Actually, with that being said, quick tangent. With the current patch on the experimental card right now, with all of these shield nerfs, we could actually see a playoffs of a similar caliber to last year, or even year one. Like, if you remember, let's go back in time. Season 1 of Overwatch League, the end of the season was drastically different because of Brig. Season 2 of Overwatch League, the playoffs were drastically different because that's when they introduced Sigma. We are not getting a new character this year, so do you think that they're going to implement this Broken Barriers patch for the playoffs to be like, okay, here's our end of season shakeup to make things more interesting?
I think it's too late, probably, because most of these teams have, 2 weeks left?
So it's 2 more weeks of play, and then we have playoffs right after? No. I want to say there is a break in between the last 2 weeks of play or not. If there's a break,
maybe. Because right now they're gathering data on the experimental level, right? So then they have to pull it off, calculate and see what they, evaluate the data, which will take about another week, and then put it on the live patch. And Overwatch League has never just straight on gone to the live patch that just gets put in. They never switch at the same time.
Which is really frustrating as a viewer, by the way.
Yeah, so I think the timetable would take from experimental to be like Overwatch League eligible would be 3 to 4 weeks.
You think? And we have seen experimental cards that just show up and then they're like, yep, this is what we thought. Here you go.
Yeah, in the live patch, but I don't know if it'll make it to Overwatch League because that's a big thing that teams have griped about, right? Because you can't just keep changing all this stuff when we're trying to practice and our entire strategy is based off double shield, which so many teams use, and you just all of a sudden say, nah, shields suck now. So the entire landscape of the league changes, which is great as a fan. I'd be like, yo, who knows what to expect? But for these teams who have worked so hard this long to perfect these strategies, it kind of sucks. You're just like, well, we've been great all year, but they just changed the entire game. And now we're going to get eliminated in the first round because no one knows how to play this new meta. So I don't think we'll ever get, if experimental does become a live patch, I don't think we'll see it in the tournament. But of course, we're going to see the current one where Genji's nerfs, and maybe there'll be a couple tweaks that make it, but the whole experimental live patch, I'm not sure. But I hope so. As a fan, I hope so.
With the Genji nerfs, remind me, was that the only nerf that was in that patch? Like, there were a couple of others, right?
That was the big one. Was it not Brig? Briggs didn't make it.
No, Briggs nerf is in the experimental patch right now.
Okay, because there's a lot of an experimental patch right now. That's but Genji's nerf was just the major one. Was there something? I don't remember anything else.
I'm pulling maybe the patch notes up now.
Yeah, maybe Orisa. No, Hogs is in the newest experimental. Yeah, I'd have to look at the patch notes again. But the Genji change is a big one because it's going to affect a lot of teams because you've basically gone from Hacksaw and Sparkle being gods to just being players again by nerfing Genji back down to what he was.
Okay, no, that was where they fixed a bunch of bugs, bug fixes, general updates for Echo, Brig, Wrecking Ball. Was it in August where this happened?
No, I think it was before that. I think it was in July.
July? Okay, let me go back.
I'm pretty sure it was over a week ago.
I'm just gonna literally search the word Genji. Nope. Okay. I just want to get clarification for this because it's like knowing that. Oh, perfect. Wait, no. So this was back in June where he initially got buffed. Yeah, so his damage was put from 28 to 30, spread reduced from 12 to 9. Okay, so now I need to find the patch note where they undid that. Okay, July, searching the word Genji.
Yeah, it was just Genji on July 30th.
So then damage decreased back from 30 to 28, and then the secondary fire recovery. So the spread is the same. The damage went back down.
But the rate of fire is lower.
It went back up from 0.65 to 0.75.
Higher. Yeah, the rate of,
you're right.
Like I said, the rate of fire is lower. Yeah, so it takes longer for the right clicks to come out because the recovery is longer. So, yeah, Genji's just not as good. He was good for 3 weeks, and they were like, nah, we're going to nerf Genji again. One of those, some of the most fun Overwatch we've watched in a long time. They take it away.
At the same time, though, it was a little tiring of seeing Ana Genji Nanoblade every match.
How does that get tiring?
It gets tiring because it's the same thing over and over. I like Overwatch because of the variety. We don't want to watch goats all day because it was the same damn boring meta for an entire year.
No, that's different because there were literally no DPS heroes on the fucking field. Like, that's just boring.
And Genji is the best hero to watch. I don't want to say the best. I like watching Widow too, but
who doesn't want to watch a nano glowing ninja with a sword? Do you watch anime, dude? I'll watch that all day. It's a glowing ninja with a sword killing people.
That'd be pretty cool.
It's just like Demon Slayer, but it's a video game. Like, I watch that all day.
Yo, so, can we get some weeb skins up in Overwatch though?
Yeah, I was perfectly fine with Nanoblade. When it was gone, when Genji left the meta, I was upset because Nanoblades are cool. As an Ana player, yes, it sucks as Ana, but you can sleep him, which is also an amazing feeling.
Oh my god, yes.
The sword out his glowing body on the ground.
Dude, did you remember the game that we were playing a couple of days ago? I think it was on Blizzard World. I was playing Ana, and then their Genji was getting cocky, and I'm like, bitch! And then slept and we were like, you teabagged. I remember that.
Yeah, and I remember, because we'd have to say, you didn't say anything, you just yelled. You were like, ah!
I was excited.
It was funny. All of us turned around, we're like, oh shit, the Genji's the guy who slept the Genji. And then we murdered him. Yes, those are great moments. That kind of brings me to another point, because we're just kind of going on tangents now. We'll get to the fuel in a second.
Yeah, dude.
Did you see Alarms play during for the fusion? Oh my god!
Where he slept him in midair? Are you talking about the Pharah sleep? Was that Alarm?
He slept. What's Sparkle? Yeah, he slept Sparkle like 3 times as Genji in a Nanoblade. Oof. in the server. Like, he slept him 3 or 4 times in a row, and I was just like, oh my god! Sparkle switched off and played Tracer. Sparkle played Tracer because he couldn't get to Ana because she kept getting slept. That's how good Alarm was, which is I think one performances of the year. If you haven't got a chance, if you're an audio listener or any type of Overwatch fan, watch Fusion versus Eternal and just follow Alarm's POV, because this dude was hitting some nasty sleeps. Like, I was like, that's the Ana player I want to be. So, and he never switched off the entire game of Ana. So yeah, I enjoy seeing Genji in the meta, but unfortunately, it's gonna change. We're gonna go back to Double Shield, Ashe. What will be Ashe Tracer or Widow Tracer?
Just push the experimental patch, guys. It's a good idea. Like, I don't want to say like completely destroy shields altogether, because I think they do have a time and a place. But it's really frustrating when you are dealing with a double shield comp. Because, like, I was just in a comp game, literally right before recording, and they were running double shield. And I'm like, well, guess we have to get, like, a Bastion and a Roadhog just so we can break all their shields. Like,
right, so we could actually damage them, right? And, Overwatch has done a great job so far, which is why I think it's an amazing game of keeping that balance for the most part. Because when you have a lot of shields, it makes it easier to play. You have a barrier. You're not, if you let just the high skill players come at you, you have no shield, you're just going to die every time. That game's not fun. But when you have 2 shields, you have this element of safety. The game's a little slower, so it helps a lot of players, which is one of the biggest struggles Overwatch has had since day one. How to keep it fun for noobs and people at low skill level and still make it amazing to watch at a high skill level, where you want to see, I want to see Carpe on the Widow or Exi, and I want to see Haxel on Genji. But you can't have them too strong because, people in ranked or lower levels don't have fun. So I think it's a real balance that they've, for the most part, in this game's lifespan, done a good job of striking. Pretty good balance, but it's time. It's time, Jeff. Just let the shields go. Just let them go, dude.
I mean, we could end up having some kind of meta to where like every single shield interaction would be something similar to like a Diva Defense Matrix. You know, like you hold it up, but it's not supposed to last forever. It's supposed to be like a skill thing. Like you see a Sigma throwing a rock, and your job as Reinhardt is supposed to block that rock, right? Mm-hmm. So you would hold up shield, but your shield would go down after a little bit because.
But see, it's so hard because a lot like Reinhardt's fully balanced based on his shield, right? So Reinhardt would need a health boost because there's no way Reinhardt can get in. Like he literally holds his shield and walks to you. So if his shield breaks immediately, he becomes Roadhog. He's just an alt battery because like you just shoot the Reinhardt and he has no shield.
Slow too.
Yeah, and he just has a hammer. He literally can't damage you as you just shoot at him because he has no shield. Okay. So like Ryan would be a big one. Needs to rework. Orisa, you would probably have to change like her fortify gives a speed boost because when her shield breaks, she has to be able to get out the way. So you have to do some changes to some tanks if you nerf shields to that extent to make it like a defense matrix. But I like the idea. Just make shields more skill based. As maybe weird as that sounds, a shield, just hold it, but it can have skill. Yeah. Just holding the shield up can take some skill. So I wish Genji didn't get nerfed. Or the Genji Nerf wasn't coming through, but it's happening, so I'm sad.
Well, with that being said, we do look forward to the playoffs and whatever the hell they bring. Yeah. Do you have any last thoughts about the Outlaws? We're going to talk about them again before the playoffs because we do want to give them like a genuine look to see if they have a shot. So the season's not over yet, but let's call a spade. It's pretty much over.
Rough being an Outlaws fan right now. My fellow band togethers and Annie ups. It's not working.
So there's always next season. You know, I thoroughly think that we're gonna see Overwatch 2 stuff next year as well, if not at the end of this year. So we'll see.
Right.
But with that being said, let's transition over. Before we do, hey Coolest, good to see you in chat. Always love having you here.
Oh yeah, welcome back.
Now let's talk about Dallas. You know, the consensus that I'm actually seeing from various content creators, analysts, is that they were surprised at Dallas's performance last week. If you remember, I did say we were going to make it to the quarterfinal, and we did.
We did.
Dallas
beat
played
the Justice, right?
Yes, we beat the Justice in a decently close match. I mean, I expected that, but it was really refreshing and nice, to be honest, to see a team that has gone through so much drama, so much anguish, still be able to come together and keep their mental right? Like, a little fact, actually, Crimzo, everyone's favorite support that people like to shit on, actually found out shortly before the game that his mom was diagnosed with breast cancer.
I saw that. I saw that. He tweeted, I'm pretty sure, yeah. He
could still keep his mental, still performed, and that is the mark of an athlete, if you ask me.
He actually played well. He played better than I'm used to seeing Crimzo play, to be honest.
I think it was just the whole fact of the entire team came together and was like, look, things are shitty right now. We still have a job to do, and we still have a potential championship to try to win, you know? Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, Dallas is going to beat San Francisco tomorrow. Yeah, no, okay, probably not. But you should play like it. You know, like, in a professional league, you are at the top of the top. You are paid to play well. And I'm really proud of the entire team for doing that. I'm proud of Doha for showing up on Genji. Oh, my God, he showed up. Gamsu and Note pulled things together as usual. I could go along the whole analysis of that all day, but I'm not going to, because what I really want to talk about is just the team as a whole. Tickety put out a twit longer. What was it, last week? No, a couple days ago, actually. Let me see if I can get it pulled up here. I'm not going to go through and read the whole thing, but he says a couple of things that I was actually right about. If you remember, we talked about how I thought that there was some instability between the team. Maybe there was some stuff behind the scenes.
Right.
Have you seen this twit longer?
I have not read his twit longer.
Not twit. It's actually a full-on Medium post.
He made a Medium post?
Full-on Medium post,
He had a lot to say here. He wants us to live forever, not just a twit longer.
So one of the things that he kind of talked about that really, noticed it was a quote, "It's easy to present a list of ideals, but much more difficult to foster the environment that upholds them." And Dallas fans, we know that at the start of the season, the team talked about how they had pillars for success. You know, how they had a great team environment, a great team attitude. We were going to win, and we have a plan to win, right? And Tickety talks about how that plan is great. It's great to have a plan. But if you don't put the action to make that plan work, if things become stagnated and fractured, and coronavirus definitely did not give this team any assistance.
I'd like to quote the famous Mike Tyson. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
And that's what happened to Dallas. He goes on to say, like, we noticed signs of these issues early on in the season, but struggled with our interventions from management. And when they did finally step in, it felt like their focus was on the scoreline and not what we truly needed. And I think that just goes to show, like, the amount of times that we had random switches. Like, remember when we were switching out Decay for, I don't want to say no reason, but it was like...
For Onigod.
Right. And the reasoning made sense, right? You want your new pickup to get some experience on stage. But you need wins. We were in a tournament situation. We were in a situation where we needed to win.
Yeah, that's a little sketchy. I mean, you got to think that was really the start of the fall off of Decay saying, screw this team, right? I mean, it has to be, because Arrow's excuse was that Decay... no, his excuse was only God needed playtime, but you just don't bench your star player for all the maps in a tournament because you need to get a rookie playtime. I think Decay at that point was kind of flexing a little bit, saying, well, the Korean players do this a lot. They'll be like, oh, my wrist hurts, like I can't play, or something happens, which is no, I mean, I'm not trying to be like rude or anything, but they do that a lot, and actually amongst each other. Like if there's an all Korean team, one of them will say like they may be hurt or something, so another player can play because they haven't got all the playtime. So that's a thing. And then so when I saw that immediately, I was like, something's up. But you know, to your point, you had called that something was going on with the fuel. And
it's actually, well, true. The thing that's really crazy is seeing the different people who were let go talk about it. I'm genuinely curious to see if Arrow comes out and makes a statement. Because he did like tweet a little bit after being let go, you know, how he was thankful to have the team, you know, how he didn't succeed like he wanted to. But it's just crazy knowing that there was so much internal drama and how...
Does he get another job? Does he get another job?
Arrow?
Yeah.
100%.
Head coaching somewhere? You think as a head coach?
I'd say so. Probably in Tier 2.
Okay. Not in Overwatch League, though. You don't think?
I think that he has proven himself to be a good coach, but maybe not at the top level, and I feel like he needs to grind his way back up to the top as a coach.
I would agree. I don't think he should be a head coach in the Overwatch League at this point. He either can come in as an assistant coach or an analyst for a team, or if he wants to be a head coach, he has to be in Tier 2 contenders. Yeah, right. I would agree. But I don't think after the resources he's had and the talent he's had for this long on the Dallas Fuel, and he just never could get it done, you can't. No one's going to hire you after that, at least not at the top level. So. And
that's one thing I want to talk about, too. You mentioned the wrong button. That is not the right button. Sorry. You talked about the resources that this team has, right? And one thing that I cannot state enough is the Dallas Fuel are owned by Team Envy, one of the most winningest, their quote, teams in esports. And right. It's kind of true. Like, Envy has had so many great teams across different esports that they've won a shit ton of money, and they have great facilities. They can afford to do the big, grandiose homestands like we've had because they've had the money to flex. And that goes behind the scenes as well. They have the staff, they have the coaches, they have the assistants that they can actually use. And the fact that we couldn't actually succeed without all of that help, I feel like is kind of a testament to the things at the top.
Absolutely. It's a testament to the coaches straight up. You've had the talent, you've got the money, you've got the facilities, you've got everything but the leader of the ship pointing in the right direction. That's it. The ship is full of people that are strong, ready to sail and go wherever you need them to go, but you're pointing them to disaster and not to the goal. So, and that's when you have to let them go. And I've heard, I think Arrow's a nice guy and he's easy to get along with for the most part, but you need results, man. And when your star player doesn't respect you, that's the worst. Because that's the fastest way to divide a locker room in any sport is to have the star player and the head coach at odds. Because the star players with you on the court are in the game.
The star player is the one who actually gets you the win.
And you see the star player like, yeah, this dude's pretty fucking good, and he's like actually getting us W's. And you're like, but this is the head coach, and he does a strat, and you're like, I don't know about this strat. You're on the fence. Your star player's like, fuck that, but you're like, the head coach said we had to do it. So it puts everyone on the team in this state of like, what do we do? Like, there's clear like division here. So if you're doing that as a head coach in the locker room, feels that way, that's how you lose the team.
Yeah, and it's crazy thinking about some of the other coaching examples and things that we see across the league. Like, I don't know if this is a great example, but I'm going to go with it anyway. The SF Shock. The amount of times that their players have been screwing around. I'm going to do this. And then Krusty's like, okay. Like, they'll like mid-game, hey, let's change up this strat. This sounds like a fun idea. And then they do it.
That's just because they're that good, right?
True.
Everyone on that team is like the all-star team could just be the San Francisco Shock. Like everyone, you
yeah,
like that whole team, everyone in the starting lineup: Smurf, Choyobin, Striker, Ons, you got Twilight, Moth, like everyone on that team. Rascals on the bench, like what, like they have an all-star team. I would meme and rank. It's ranked to them. It's not even Overwatch
really
League.
Is,
it's like
though.
ranked.
And you can tell when they play that they are taking it seriously, but they're not taking it too seriously. Like when they played us during the Countdown Cup, right?
Right.
You could tell that San Francisco was playing with their food a little bit.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely, you could tell. And they do step up for it's crazy because they step up for the teams they feel threatened by, right? Mm-hmm. Like, so the Fusion or the Eternal, if they play those teams, they're like, all right, we're fucking playing, let's go, kind of comp. And then when they play other teams, it's kind of like, put Super on Genji, like, why not, Yeah,
and that's literally, well, it started off as a meme, and then Super was like, you know what? I think it's funny. I think it's a great meme, but you guys should take my Genji seriously. And he did prove himself. He can play the Genji.
He can play it. I mean, it's nice to have 5 other all-stars behind you to play it, because there are a couple of Dragon Blades where I was just like, question mark? Like, what? And it was funny. I don't know if you've seen, I love, it's a love-hate thing about how much Overwatch League has leaned into this. Have you seen the commercials when the Shock were playing of like, Super describing how he got to play the Genji?
Oh yeah.
And they had a clip from EQO saying, I'm watching Super now, I have so much to learn. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. This is just memeing.
They are memeing intentionally. Super is arguably their most marketable player right now.
Oh, he is the most marketable player by far. He
has that Chad attitude. He actually can back it up, especially seeing as we just lost 2 of our Chads actually. I like how Chad is now like a Karen.
Pretty much. It's like, oh, you got fucking Chads.
But like he's the only one. Let me rephrase that. He's one of the only ones that speaks native English, and that does make a difference in your marketing.
Yeah, I think it's between him and Moth, right? But Moth doesn't.
Moth is more quiet and reserved, but he's really cocky.
Yeah. He's more shy. He's more introverted. So so Super's the other one.
Let's bring this round back, because we can talk about the Shock all day. I do think it's funny.
It's nice to talk about a winning team, isn't it? Okay, continue.
No. The joke I was going to make is, do you watch Dividing, the Overwatch content creator?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
He recently put out a video of, like, I asked, I forget what the number was. It was a huge number, Overwatch fans, of who's their favorite team, right? And then a bunch of them were like, oh, Dallas, but now it's San Francisco. Or, oh, Atlanta, but now it's San Francisco. And it's all these people that are just like, oh, I like popular team because they're popular, and I'm going to bandwagon. And it's like, you know what? That's been in sports since, sports existed. Yeah.
Forever. Yeah,
so
it's been there forever.
I get it if you want to follow a winning team, but you need to be able to take the losses with the wins. Okay? Yep. Going back to talk about Dallas. I'm going to pull up their schedule for the next couple of weeks, because we actually have a lot of games to play.
I think you have 3?
4.
Is it 3 or 4? Okay.
It's 4 games. So these next couple of weeks aren't regular games. These are makeup games. Effectively, when COVID-19 actually started affecting the Overwatch League and the rest of the world, for that matter, we had to stop games for a bit. Some teams could keep playing because they were all, like, I think it was some of the Gladiators had gone to Korea, and then before they started playing their games, they were told to get out, but they had to leave back for America.
Kicked out. Go away.
And then like how the Justice had already had 2 homestands by the time this had gone through, so most of their a lot of their games were played. So like if you're looking through the schedule for the next couple of weeks, you're gonna notice that some of these teams aren't here. Houston is a good example. Y'all have already played all the games for the season.
Yep,
so
we are done.
For the Dallas Fuel, we have 4 games left. 3 of them are winnable. The first one, the first one is this Friday against the Gladiators, which they're a team that they're a little rocky right now. They're not great, but they're not awful.
They're always a threat. The Gladiators.
100%. The next game is the very next day where we play the Vancouver Titans. Also a game that is winnable, but we have to take it seriously. This team is starting to figure their shit out. We jump over to the week after that. If my internet will load. Please load. Thank you. After that, we play the Toronto Defiant. Again,
that's going to be an interesting game.
That's another. I think that Toronto and the Gladiators are kind of in the same echelon of they're not bad, but they're not beating the top teams.
I'd put the Gladiators over Atlanta because of the tank difference.
Atlanta or Toronto?
Oh, Toronto. Sorry.
Red teams. It's okay.
Yeah, over Toronto for sure. I think OG and Space are way better than whoever the hell Toronto's tanks are. Is that Gator and Hawk? No, that's Atlanta. Toronto's is our... the red and black. I confuse them all the time.
Dude, that's one of the problems of Overwatch League. There are way too many red teams, way too many blue teams. Okay, now we have 4 black teams. Because you have on Seoul, SF, Florida, Toronto. I think that's all the teams with black as their primary.
I think you're right.
Yeah. Well, it's just furthering my point.
Yeah. Is Shanghai's or is theirs red?
Shanghai's is red, white, and yellow.
White, yellow.
But their alternate is red, black, and yellow. But that's it's neither here nor there. Looking
Chengdu?
back at these games, Chengdu is orange and black.
Orange and black.
The opposite of Philly. Now that I'm thinking about it,
See.
It's a coloring thing. No. Like, look, they tried to go diverse with Florida, and look what happened to them, okay? They got memed on, and I don't want to say nobody liked the McDonald's colors, but
Florida was a copy of the Dragons originally. They were both, like, red, black, and yellow kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they were like the Dragons, but it was like a worse version of the Dragons. It was, like, so much bright red. So...
But ultimately, bringing this back around, the first 3 games are winnable, right? I do genuinely think that we can beat Washington. We can beat Los Angeles.
Washington.
We can beat the Gladiators, okay? Mm-hmm. We can beat the Titans, and we can beat the Defiant. I don't think Dallas is going to be able to beat Paris. Let's be honest, that would be a miracle. Yeah. It's not impossible. In Young we trust. Okay.
Right. Yeah, he's got a new coach. You never know. Now he could just bring the extra secret sauce that y'all have needed this whole time.
Yep. He has said in multiple tweets, like, I'm doing my best. I'm like, I trust him. He wasn't he the head coach of Element Mystic in Contenders last year?
Yeah.
So he already has head coaching experience. This is just a different roster than he's used to. Right. So I believe that we can at least get 3 of those 4. If we do, that puts us at almost not dead even. Where's standings? And then we go fuel. That would put Dallas at 12-14. Yeah, 3 wins, 1 loss, 12-14. Which isn't a terrible standing line. Like,
wait, you would be 12-14?
12 wins, 14 losses.
What are you guys right now?
We're 9 wins, 13 losses.
What? Huh, okay. I'm looking at the standings, and I'm not seeing that. I just see you guys at 7-10. But
wait, holy shit, you're right.
With 17 games played.
What?
I was like, I don't know, we're getting 13.
Wait. Wait, hold on. Yeah, that's weird. Why is it telling me one thing here? Okay, look, regardless, this and the end of this week is not going to put Dallas in the top 10.
Right, that's going to be extremely difficult.
It's not impossible, but when you actually, like, I kind of wish they would take the standings and put them in NA and APAC.
Right. Why you already separated them? Why don't you just put the standings the same way? I don't understand that. I don't.
At the end of the day, though, we do have to take into account that we're going to see a finals of top 2 APAC and top 2 NA, so which I am genuinely looking forward to the finals this year. I think it's going to be really good with probably, I would say, if we looked at things right now, Shanghai, Guangzhou, SF, either Philly or Paris.
I think it's Philly. I think Philly goes again.
Yeah.
I think Philly. But let's be real. We all know the match you want to see. You want to see the Shock versus Dragons, dude.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
The Shock versus Dragons. It's like a build-up to get this to this apex of what Overwatch League, the best 2 teams in the world, are going to play.
We could very well see it.
Are sick.
We could very well see it because it's double elimination.
Right.
So that's something that we need to take a look into. As for Dallas, to finish off on my point, I am hopeful that we can get the wins for this next week. I am hopeful that we can go into playoffs and at least skate away with 1 win. Do I expect us to make it to the finals? No. We have had a very rough season. It's been... God. The thing that's really stressful about it is it feels like this team, I don't want to say is cursed, but we seem to have the most drama, I feel, out of all the orgs.
Oh, Dallas? Yes. I mean, that's just kind of part of your MO, right? That's kind of what they do. I kind of thought it was just a thing. Y'all just we're not on Overwatch TMZ enough. Let's do some shit.
Yeah. Oh, at the same time, that's also what happens when you come into the league saying, we're the best, we're bringing in the best players, we just won Apex, so obviously we're good. Just come at us, bro. And that's how Dallas started Season 1, and
Overwatch has changed a lot since then, because that was when Lunatic High, who is now the Seoul Dynasty, were supposed to just dominate the entire competition. And now Seoul Dynasty is one of the low-tier APAC teams, which I saw earlier looking at their schedule, or their, I guess, standings. Since they've gone over to the APAC region, they've only won 3 regular season games.
But
3 regular season games.
How much of this season's Dynasty is the same as last season's, though?
Oh, no. I think it's stupid because they took the London Spitfire and just put them on Seoul. It's Prophet, Badoshan, Jester. Over half the team is the old London Spitfire. And they moved them over to the Seoul Dynasty, and they're getting the same results the old London Spitfire did after they won their championship. They fell off. And there were some issues with shot calling and et cetera, and that has moved to the Dynasty. And the Dynasty have basically gotten worse, in my opinion, since they've changed up their roster to what it is now. So, I don't know. The Dynasty is my second favorite team, and they're just shit in the bed right now. So it's tough to watch.
It's unfortunate, but hey, that's sports. One team is going to win, one team is going to lose.
And I am not in management, so I can't make any decisions about what they do, because I'll be damned. I'll walk in there like, look, motherfucker. All right, get your shit together, okay? Click some heads. That'd be my only coaching advice.
Okay, press W, click heads. Good job.
Yeah, that's it. Come on, easy game, easy life. Let's go.
To end on my Dallas point, it's really revealing seeing how much was behind the scenes. Also, hashtag Project was right. Just knowing that this much is going on that's affecting the players, that's making it difficult for us to get the wins that we deserve. I'm gonna be honest, my confidence in Dallas might have been a little bit too strong, but I do think that some of it is valid.
I can tell you that.
We have good players, we have decent strats. It's really frustrating knowing that you have the talent and you're not pulling it off, right? If this isn't a Boston situation where most of our players are super green, have never played on the main stage before, and are all of a sudden being told to compete. No, most of our team are either veterans or rookies who have proven themselves to want it. Like, we don't just pick up random players. So why is it that we can't get the wins? I don't know. I want to see it happen this weekend. Dallas, you know what to do. As in, don't disappoint me.
Press W and click heads. How is my advice wrong?
There you go.
How is my coaching style wrong?
But with that being said, I have no idea how long we've been recording for. So let's just talk about the summer. Wrong tournament.
Wrong
the Countdown
tournament.
Cup, which I still don't like that name.
Nope, and it will never grow on me. So
good news, it's over.
Good name. Yeah, whoever thinks it's a good one, no, you're wrong. If you think it's a good name,
they wanted their alliteration.
A lot of it was to be expected. The graphic went. Wait, I think it went chalk. It basically went chalk until Philly beat the Eternal in the semifinal, but that's 2 versus 3, so I don't know if I really consider that an upset.
Did you, real quick, did you do your bracket with the Overwatch League thing?
I did. Are we going to compare brackets?
Yes.
Oh, boy. Wait, I got to find it. I think I'll have to find it on my Twitter. Searching.
I'm curious how many points you got, because I have mine pulled up. I just need your Twitter handle. And I should be able to pull it up.
It's at Isaiah Reed.
Fucking let me duplicate.
Cool, my Asian bracket was wrong. Oh my god. Yeah, I actually did pretty poorly.
Ooh, I got more points than you. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up your bracket first. It's because I want you to be able to look at it. You got the stream pulled. Oh, you got it pulled up on your side. You can see. So this is AXL's bracket. You had in the knockouts the Valiant against the Defiant. Didn't happen. Glads versus Justice. Houston, Florida. You guessed that right. Paris, Dallas. Wait, you said Paris, Dallas?
No, I had Dallas losing in the first round.
Yep. Okay, I see that now. And then you had SF going against Houston. SF did win, but it wasn't Houston. Valiant, Titans. You didn't think the Valiant didn't win. Who'd they play?
They played the Outlaws. I had the Outlaws beating the Valiant.
Okay.
And then yep. So since the Outlaws lost, so the Valiant moved on. And it's kind of crazy for the quarterfinals because they get to pick who their teams are, right? So it can go any direction. But the semifinals and finals are pretty straightforward. It was the top 4 teams, and that was pretty much chalk.
Is this one Isaiah Reed? Yep. SF Shock, Valiant, Philly Gladiators. Why is it giving you the X when you said SF was going to go to the end?
No, because I picked one of the teams wrong, right? So on mine, I had Shock Outlaws, so I get it wrong for just having one of the teams. The team that Shock played wrong.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't know how this bracket works.
Because this is weird, too, because this bracket, you have to guess what the teams are going to pick. Right?
Yeah, that was the hardest part.
So that's so subjective to me. So it's not truly like, I have fun with this, but it's not a true like March Madness style bracket like college basketball where like if this team wins, they have to play this team. Like, no, the Shock could have said like, fuck it, we want to play, I don't know, the Eternal. I mean, they can't play Eternal, but like whoever, right? They could have picked the best team in the thing and it would have blown everyone's bracket up because they picked something. Yeah. So that's kind of weird to me, but yeah, I know I had the Outlaws when I had the entire first round wrong in North America. So that's always good.
What was your Asia look like? Oh, you got the entire you got the whole first round right in Asia.
No, I got I did.
Yeah.
Well, I got the winner. Why did it mark me off for Seoul?
What do you mean?
I picked Seoul to beat Hangzhou, and I did Hangzhou. Wait, who won that game?
Seoul, what? Shanghai?
Seoul, Hangzhou, Spark. The first round in Asia, the quarterfinals. Did Seoul lose that?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then, see, I don't get this whole points thing because it doesn't really make sense. Because I'm over here like, I got 35 points. And I'm like, I don't know how I did. Because my first round in Asia, I only got 2 of the 3 right. But I successfully guessed Shanghai was going to pick New York. And then Seoul... Well, Chengdu did win? Yeah, I said Chengdu was going to win the whole thing.
Oh, okay. I had New York winning the whole thing, so we both kind of fucked up on the Asian bracket.
But like my NA bracket doesn't look bad. Like I had Vancouver playing Atlanta, didn't happen. Houston Valiant, did that actually happen?
Yeah, that was the first round.
Right.
So that happened. Yeah. So the knockouts were locked.
Yeah, and I was nice, and I said Houston was gonna win. They didn't. They didn't. I was trying to be nice.
I was being mean and saying the Justice were gonna win, and I was wrong.
And yeah, Dallas beat the Justice. I correctly guessed the Glads are gonna beat Toronto, and then we go to quarterfinals. SF Dallas. I had to be honest. SF was gonna win, so I got that right.
You got 35. Oh, I beat by 1 point. Nice.
Let's see. So yeah, Florida, Houston. That didn't happen. I did guess that Philly was gonna win, whoever they played, and I guess that Paris is gonna win. And then I got the semifinal perfect, actually. I said SF was going to pick Florida. Billy was going to pick Paris. Wait, they didn't get to pick. That was just what happened. Regardless. And then I said Philly was going to win the finals, and they didn't.
All I know is if you want to follow me on Twitter, at Isaiah Reed, if you see it on the stream there. I did pick the final correctly when it was Shock Fusion. I called 4-2 on my Twitter before the match started, and I was correct. Just want to put that out there. So.
Hold on. I gotta get it for the stream. That way everybody gets proof. This is Isaiah Reed's Twitter. He did indeed tweet. I'm calling it Shock Win it 4-2 on August 9th.
At 3:36 before the match started at 4. So it was before the match started. I was like, Shock gonna win this.
Oh, you got a retweet? Somebody retweeted you? Hell yeah! Oh, you were tweeting yourself.
I retweeted myself. Tweeted myself. Like this guy's smart.
Nice. Well, look, the tournament was a lot of fun. I enjoyed watching it. I don't think we have enough time to really dive too deep into it.
Did you have a favorite match? Because I definitely did.
I can't say yes, because I'm going to be completely honest. I wasn't watching it as normally or as attentively as I normally would. It was a background thing for me, unfortunately. If I had to say a favorite match, Dallas beating Washington.
Yeah, it was a win. It's always fun watching your team win. You can't go wrong with that.
It was a very good feeling of, yes, we did it. We can still win. It's possible.
Yeah, mine was, I kind of spoiled it before. The Fusion Eternal game was really fun to watch. There was some really high-level support play going on, and I'm so glad it was brought to the attention by the casters about how much, like, Alarm and Funny Astro were popping off, like, as the back line and just carrying. The Fusion course don't have to be carried, but also, too, the fact Carpe only played one map.
Yeah, I did notice that.
Carpe played Control, and then he got subbed out for Hisu. And, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank on the great one. Hisu and who's the other person? I'm just drawing a blank.
Yeah, I'm pulling up their team. Give me a second.
But yeah, and the Fusion look really... Ivy, that's it, the Genji, yeah. They look really good without Carpe. So this makes you maybe even a little more scared of the Fusion. If they could actually be dominant without Carpe, you're starting to enter like San Francisco Shock level of versatility, because like we've got our star. We've got Carpe. If he wants to come in and play Widow, we can do it. But there's actually a hole in Carpe's game. Carpe is one of my favorite players. I voted him for MVP just because. He
deserves it. One of the most consistent players of all 3 years of Overwatch League. Right. I think he deserves it.
If Jonak's got one, Sinatra's got one, Carpe needs to get one, dude. The dude's just been great for so long. It's kind of like by default, in my opinion, he deserves it. But it's just he doesn't talk much or anything, so he's hard to market. But with all that said, yeah, Carpe, the hole in his game is Sombra. Carpe doesn't play Sombra, and we're kind of in a Sombra meta right now. And Hisu can. So, which is a lot of the reason why he was on the bench for that whole series. But it was good to see Philly and how they play without Carpe being the sole focus of the team. So I enjoyed that match a lot. It was a hell of a play. Poor Sparkle. Poor Sparkle. I'm sorry, man. Like, if I got slept that many times on Nanoblade, dude, I would have fucking left the lobby. I would just been like, you know what? I'm
Game
done.
over. Done. Y'all get the win.
This is the best hero. I stuck my life into this hero. I'm supposed to be amazing. I can't be getting slept by Ana 3 straight Nanoblades. That was just unreal. Shout out to Alarm and that amazing play. If you haven't seen it, like I said, go watch. Just watch his POV. Some of the best Ana play you'll see. So yeah, that was my highlight of the tournament. The Shock Fusion, like I said, I called it. I kind of knew how I was going to go. Shocker is too versatile. Fusion just aren't there yet. They can't beat the Shock yet.
Yeah, they're good, but it was clear during that game that while the Fusion are good, the Shock are just better.
Yeah, that's Shock Shanghai win. Come on, guys. Because Shanghai looks unbeatable too. Lip and Fleta are looking like one of the best DPS duos in the league. But I'm sure the Shock will have something to say about that, and Rascal will have something to say about that in the Genji.
And I look forward to that game whenever it happens. But we are not there yet. We still have a few weeks. But until then, this has been Texas Watch, your source for Overwatch League news, discussion, Houston Outlaws, Dallas Fuel. I still need to work on this. It's been 3 years and I still don't know what the hell the show is. You can catch the show live right here on twitch.tv/Projekt AR every Tuesday at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time, because Texas time
is bestest time.
We're on podcast services around the globe. You can find us anywhere, everywhere, and on YouTube. Which, again, please give us that like, that subscribe. We appreciate it. You know, we're here for you. We read your comments. You know, there was that one guy a couple of weeks ago that said, like, you guys had a really good discussion. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, that's appreciated.
Yeah.
Grassroots. There you go. Thank you, man.
So hey, if you're out there and you like what we do, leave us a comment. Let us know what you maybe think we could improve on, what you like, what you didn't like. You know, we'll hear their feedback. Let's go.
Right.
But until next time, let's make Texas proud.
Yeehaw.